Hey guys, sorry for such a late video. It's been like 3 weeks, but I've been super uber busy. So I've decided to do a watercolor video just to show you guys how I do my videos. You'll see some of my pictures of my final art on Instagram. And yeah, let me just go to the video. So I'm just showing you my supplies. I got my watercolor paper Smooth by Casa. This is a Windsor and Newton, I think it's a 40 something palette. Can't actually remember. I'm just like fixing them there. And yeah, I made a little paper for the colors. This is just my little box which has, you know, little cute tools and special things in there. And let's see what else. We have my brushes. And this is my white pen that I got in Italy, but it's like pen tools so you can get them anywhere. It's a watercolor brush, and it's basically I use a nail art dotter for either masking fluid or what else, or for white stars, I don't know. Anyway, so that was masking fluid, some gold ink, my water, and masking tape. Oh, and a little tool that I may need for colouring circles. So I'm just going to take one piece out. Yeah, let's get into it. So I'm going to take the small masking fluid and I'm just going to put it on the corners as well to stick it to the table, because the problem with this smooth paper is it kind of bunches up. So with the watercolors it's really bad. You might see it in the video actually, and it just creates these crevices where the water just collects, and it's really annoying. So I try and use that one for a border because I love taking it off and revealing like a white clean border on the sides, but also for just keeping it on the table clear. I normally get my inspiration from YouTube or Instagram or Pinterest. This time it was Pinterest. It was just a picture I saw which looks similar, but I can't replicate pictures, so it's really different. It's just a bit of inspiration of a type of crystal night with flower. Crystal night, what the hell is crystal night? Magical night. Yeah, magical, let's call it. So what I'm doing now is just wetting the paper all over with the flat brush, and I'm going in with blues and purple, you know, dark blues, dark purples, just to do a light background. And then I changed to the round brush because I got angry, and I get stressed out when I draw, so or paint even. So I'm just doing that and slowly building up colour and slowly layering it up. It doesn't look neat. It doesn't have to look neat because this is just your first layer. You won't even ever see it. Very scarcely will you be able to see the first layer. So I did get annoyed and I brought the hairdryer because I thought I'm not waiting. Like this video already took an hour to do. So I was thinking to myself, I do not want to wait like an extra 40 minutes for everything to dry each time. So now I've gone in with a darker colour with the flat brush, and you'll just see me build up colour for quite a time. And yeah. Most of the time I don't even like my paintings, especially as they're developing and I get into a mood with them. So what I've decided to do is add a lot more water and a lot of colour, and try and dry it into a certain shape. As you can see, the crevices that I told you about at the start are forming, and it's already causing problems even with the drying, but it's okay. What I'm just trying to do is just make loads of patterns that will be faintly seen when you keep building up the colour, so that it looks, I don't know, distorted almost. I don't know how to explain it. I've gone in with this really dark blue, which almost in the palette looks black, but when you obviously draw it, it looks blue. I'm just trying to cover all of it because if not, it'll look like a scrappy mess and it'll look absolutely horrible. So I've done that. I'm just building up the layers more and more until it looks sort of like a weird magical sky. and it's like a gradient, but not too much of a gradient. I didn't want it to like come across like I'm trying to do a smooth gradient, because it's not supposed to. I want it to be harsh, almost like, you know, like when someone conjures up a spell in the sky or something. That's what I was hoping for. So here what I decided to do was add a lot of colour, like in small condensed places, and then drop water onto it so that it kind of splayed out into random areas and random crevices. I tried to push out the paper a bit more, but it didn't really work. But as you can see, it's sort of working. It looks a bit messy, which annoyed me, but it came okay in the end. So I'm just adding more of the dark colour, a bit of the purple, and the really beautiful, I call it ocean blue. I don't know what its actual colour is, but if you have the palette, you'll know. I'm sorry, I'm not very good with the colour names. And I'm using the dotting tools to push the paper down, because as you can see, the water and colour has gathered into the crevices, and I'm trying to pick off the masking tape and like stretch out the paper, but this is what happens with the smooth paper, because it's not made for high intense water things. It's made for, like, you know, illustrations and designs and stuff like that. But I like using it because I have a lot of it, and it's slightly less expensive, and I just thought it would be useful at the time, but it's still good. So I'm just trying to move the water, as you can see, the crevices again, but I'm just trying to add more colour near the bottom and just make it more highly pigmented everywhere and more powerful on impact of looking. So I waited for it to dry a little bit before I carried on, and as you can see, it's still drying at the top, and I decided to add the bottom where the trees are, and I'm actually going to zoom in for you so you can actually see me do it properly. So as you can see, I'm just adding, I don't know how to explain it, it's the really dark blue that I used on the top, but I'm kind of dotting it in places and just creating random shapes and building it up to make the trees. Completely random, completely not really organised. I didn't really know what I was doing. And yeah, it's just going to build up and build up until it looks like a magical forest. I keep saying magical, it's not magical, but still. So I've gone back over with that dark colour with the bottom, and I've added a tiny bit of black as well, just to emphasise and emphasise more things, like the trees, make them thicker, make them more apparent. These two ones on the side I decided to make taller. So what I'm actually doing now, I'm using the gold ink from Windsor and Newton and dusting it on very lightly on the top in the sky. You can't see it very clearly now, but when I show you the end result, you'll see what I mean. I'm just doing it with the wet brush, but then I realised it's bunching up and actually pulling some of the paper off, because it's smooth paper, of course. So I have got my dry brush there, and I'm just trying to brush it in a bit more. Now I'm getting my dotting tool, and I'm actually going to use it to make stars with the white, I think it's like China white or something, I don't know, but just especially in those gold parts where it's quite prominent, just to make it look like a cluster of stars, and that's why it's glowing with the gold. And I'm just using both the big side and the small side of the dotter. There are smaller sides with another dotter I have, but I chose not to use that one. And you can't see it on this blue bit that I'm doing now, but again, in the end result, you will see it. I'm then getting my flat brush again and splaying it. I don't know what that's called. I'm just kind of trying to splatter it around. And it didn't work so much when I wanted high pigment, so I had to use a lot more water, and as you can see, it comes out a lot more. And I quite like that it comes out in varying degrees of intensity, so it will come out, you can see the ones that are now they're quite prominent, but when you see the end result, you'll see that there's very faint ones as well, which gives the illusion of depth, really. So I'm just doing that, splatter, 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 everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. And then I decided to do this, which is the tapping, the typical method that everyone knows, where you tap it against your finger, and that came out more intense and more vivid, and I liked it a lot. I said three methods, didn't I? 1, 2, 3. It's actually 4 methods that I use. I just fixed that at the top. I really didn't like how it was looking, and it was still drying, so I just thought add a bit more intensity in certain places and get rid of some of the white that was there. When I splatted, but yeah, going back to dotting, but there's another technique that I will use, which you will see in a second. Yeah, I messed it up a bit, so I just tried to fix it. It's good enough. Okay, this is it now. I've got my white Pentel pen, and what I'm doing is I'm just making, you know, that typical star design that everyone knows, just in the places where there's the gold, to make it more intense, make it more prominent, make it look like that's why it's golden. And I also use this tool to dot as well, across the whole paper. It's so useful, especially this white pen is just useful for everything you do, but it's really useful for details. And on this light blue section at the bottom, that's where I put it a lot as well, and it comes out really well because the white obviously just blends into it because it's so light, but with the pen it's really beautiful, and hopefully you'll be able to see that in the end result of the video. So there you go. Now all I need to do, it's all finished. I just have to take off the top, the masking tape in order in which it was put on, and I think I did it wrong, but I did the top first, and I just love seeing this clean, neat line when I do it. I don't know why. I get so much satisfaction, and look how beautiful it is. And the paper, again, sometimes it pulls off the paper and it rips and it really angers me, but you can just fix that with a bit of paint like I'm doing now, and there's no problems. And if you do feel it's tearing or see it's tearing, just go, like I've just done, go in with another one, because it's really not worth like ripping your paper for it, because it's frustrating. But I just love this beautiful white border when it comes out. I don't know why. It's one of my favourite parts of the whole thing, finishing it and taking off that border. And obviously always sign your work, 1, to make it feel more professional, make it feel more arty, and 2, so that no one can steal your designs. So thank you so much for watching. Please regally like, comment and subscribe, and share to all your friends. If you want to see more videos like this, just tell me. And if you have an art design or type of thing you want, or even if you want any of my artwork, just message me. So thank you so much, and hopefully see you soon.